Hey, Tony Gasser here, popping in with another episode of Talks with Tony. So we moving right along. This one doesn't have a subject, so we're gonna read this together. It looked like it's from a guy based on the first sentence, which if it's from a guy, this might be the first one from a guy. Hello, my name is such and such, and I'm 28 years old. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I know I love this woman because I'm willing to give and not take. After our first year, it was rough. I wasn't the man she wanted. I was immature. Going into the next year, I made a big mistake. I put my hands on her. I knew right then and there that was it. I reached out to counseling help. She saw the progress. We got back together. I knew she was afraid of me and I felt the pain. I accepted because I knew what I did. As another year passed, we officially broke up. I still think about her and we still talk from time to time. I'm still learning to be a better man. We are great friends today, still learning I need to listen to understand her rather than respond. I have no second thought about being with her to the end. I have no second thought if I need to change my ways. I'm afraid I'm waiting on the side and I'm not going to be the end result. At the end of the day, she deserves to be happy, at peace, and feel safe at all times. I don't know how I can schedule a moment to talk with you or just for some advice. I appreciate your words, and I just read one of your books, Make It Work. I couldn't stop reading Forgive and Forget. Touched deeply to me, as well as arguing isn't communication. I do apologize for being too open, even if it's not directly to you, Mr. Gaskins. It is directly to me, and I'm the only one that has access to this email address, so I'm the only one that sees these, other than as far as seeing y'all's name and stuff like that, or seeing your email address, and other than me reading it, but I read them anonymously. So thank you for reaching out. Not too much of a question in here, but for coaching, you can visit mymentor.life. And if it's not any sessions on there, then you could write in to support@tonygaskins.com to sign up for a VIP session, which typically gets you in within 2 business days. And as far as your letter is concerned, you recognize your problems, you recognize where you went wrong, and it's an interesting thing. I noticed that a lot of women don't trust women, and I noticed that a lot of men don't trust men. And I think it's because we live with ourselves. So it's like women really know women. And that's why you hear so many women say, I don't have female friends. I only got male friends because women too catty, women too much drama. And I always wondered about that. Like, how don't you want to be friends with your own kind, like with your own gender? And you only want to be friends with men. Like, I've heard so many women say that over the years. And then the same thing, but now on the flip side with men, men are not that way. Men love being friends with other guys. Men love guys' night out. Men love guys' time. And so when you really look at it from the outside looking in, like, men do a lot of shady stuff to a woman that they're dealing with. But to other men pretty straightforward. And I think that's because we know ourselves as well. Every man knows that every man is a killer. Every man knows that any man, the scrawniest, skinniest, quietest man, will put a bullet between your eyes. Every man knows that. So there's kind of like this unspoken respect for the most part, unless a man is just crazy and he don't care about his life. But other than that, you really don't try anybody as men. Whereas with women, I think women know that that's not the same case. That not every single woman is a killer. Not every single woman is just ready to end you if you cross her. Might put hands on you now. And that's just certain women. And so here's the thing. I say all that to say, when I read something like this from a man, it's hard for me as a man to believe that there's truly remorse and that there could be real change. Because I know I've changed my life, but I didn't change with the woman that I offended against, the woman that I did super dirty. I never changed with those women. I changed in the next relationship with my wife. I've changed, but I changed things that I did from my past because I learned from those things and I had to start over, start fresh with my wife. But I cannot see a man putting hands on a woman with intent to harm and changing that behavior purely for good. I can see you changing it for a year, changing it for 2 years, 5 years. But the issue is once you learn how to speak a language, you revert to that language in those moments of tests and trials. So yes, you can change as a man, but it's more so the exception than the rule. And when we look just at the studies, we look at the science, we look at relationships that we know of, one thing that we see often is that so many men get left by a woman and then beg and plead to get her back and then get her back and do the same or worse to her the next time. And even your letter, it stated that, you had her, you lost her, you got her back. Huh? Oh. Oh, really? You think you could send that back? Because that thing was probably about $300, I think. Can it go back? They got the return slip? Huh? Came from across the water, didn't it? From Italy? That I thought that was, the size. I guess it just made different. Oh, okay, yeah, European size is a little different. You look beautiful. Look beautiful now. Hey, squeeze on it now. Squeeze on it. Sorry, my wife came. I had ordered getting ready to go to Jamaica at the end of the month with my friend for his birthday, and I ordered a bathing suit off this site, and the site called Farfetch. Like, how people say that's a far-fetched idea. That's the site called Farfetch, and it's an app, but it's all like, name different designers, a lot of different designers and a lot of name brand stuff. And this is a little secret, because everybody don't know about Farfetch, but it's only if you wear or are into higher end clothes. It's not really, they don't sell like the Gap and H&M and stuff like that, like the $10-12. This is like if you kind of you into the fabric and you want like this finer material and these clothes that are just come with a little more design. So being that I'm shopping for a queen, I could get some stuff for a queen from Target, but I don't want to get everything from Target, so I want to get some stuff that is made in Italy and France and different places where they got different materials and stuff. So I ordered her this bathing suit. It looked beautiful to me because we don't often go to the beach, so she don't have no up-to-date bathing suits. And so I seen it, I ordered for her, and I ordered a medium, because that's typically the size she like to order, but it's European size. So she said, "Who is this for? It's not fit to fit me." And so me personally, I'm like, "Hey, go on, keep that thing now. Put that thing on in the room now." But you can't be wearing all that. And see, me, I don't know if I'm just conservative, but this world is just too much for me. Like, now women going to the beach with thong bathing suits on, that's just showing too much skin for me. It make me feel uncomfortable as a man to be looking at this woman at the beach and she got a thong bathing suit on. I'm like, that's just too much skin, just too much cheek. Like, I just feel like that's private. I feel like it should be private for just when you in your room, you in your shower, you with your significant other. Like, I should not just be able to see all your everything. But that's just the way the world going. Just so, ooh. But back to what I was saying, so I tell you, this right here, as a man, this is the only time men write me. Men never write me. And I'm telling you this as a man too. It's the only time men write me when it all falls apart. Like, men never seek me out when it's a little rocky and it could be salvaged. Men come to me when the woman is completely fed up, she at the divorce court, or she completely done, and then the men come to me and like, hey, work this miracle. You know, she respect you. That's how I know your name. She respect you. If you tell her to be with me, she gonna be with me. And I can't do that because I don't know the inner workings. And when you say putting hands on her, you know, I don't know if that means grabbing her. I don't know if that means with a closed fist knocking her out. You see what I mean? And so I tell every woman, and this man to man, and I tell men this too, one-on-one on the phone call. I tell every single woman, if a man ever hits you, never look back. Don't ever give a person a second chance to hit you, because that next time they hit you could take your life. So that's one thing that I just really, I don't deal with, you know, I don't tolerate. And it's just too dangerous. You know, it's just too dangerous. And so this the other thing is, like, you have a soul tie. You have a tie to her. And what you have to realize is that it's not love that you have for her, because you can never hit someone if you truly love them. It's not love that you have for her. She is your human teddy bear. So what I mean by that is you have pain and agony in your life. You have issues in your life. And as a grown man, you use her as your teddy bear. So remember what we do with our little toys, with our G.I. Joes and whatnot. We rip off their legs when we mad. We rip them apart, we throw them, we stomp on them. We do everything to them when we upset, when we mad, when we want to take something out on something. We take it out on our teddy bear, or our G.I. Joes, our little toys, or whatever it is, and we try to destroy and destruct little stuff that we have in our room when we 5-6 years old, if we got that kind of spirit. Now, when we become grown men, we can't walk around with G.I. Joes and little toy cars that you could stomp on the top of it, and teddy bears. You can't do all that. So what do you get in place of that? You get a woman. And then when you're angry, you take all your anger out on that woman. And then after you release all your anger, you calm down, and then you realize how bad it is what you just did, and then you're apologetic. But see, when you growing up and you have a wall to punch, that wall cannot leave you. It can't walk away from you. That wall it's so many boys around the world who have a hole in their wall or in their door from punching it when we get angry. I had a little too much sense for that. I wasn't finna do that. Now, tearing up my sister Barbie doll, tearing up my G.I. Joes, I do that kind of stuff. You know, tearing up a little stuffed animal, ripping off the eye. You know, I do that kind of stuff. Getting a little seam in it and going ahead and splitting them legs all the way out because it got that little seam right there in the middle, and pulling out the cotton. You know, I did that kind of stuff. Now, punching a brick wall or a sheetrock wall, and wood wall, and kind of wall, that just was not me. I couldn't do that. And see, this is the thing, what we have to realize as men, we don't find an effective way to release our anger and our pain. We don't find something to get into. Like right now, I got me a hobby. I'm finna rebuild. I'm finna have my car rebuilt. I can't do the work, but I'm gonna be in the process, decision making, and I'm gonna be in the work, and I'm gonna put energy there. When I'm stressed and I just want to release, I'm gonna put it into my little classic car. And as men, we don't do that often enough, and we want a woman. Think about this, the role that a lot of women play for their man. She is the porn star. She is the stripper. She is the prostitute. She is the chef. She is the maid. She is the butler. She is the nanny. She is the assistant. She is the punching bag. She is the teddy bear. I just pointed out 10 different roles that we as men give the woman in our life. And that's so common, but we don't identify it as that. We call it a relationship. We call it love, not realizing that this is a human that you putting through all of these different things when all she is asking of you is to be a handyman. fix stuff around the house, and to be her personal plumber, her Chippendale in the bedroom. But that's it. Very rarely does the woman ask the man to be the housemaid, to be the chef, to be the nanny. You see what I'm saying? So when you really look at it objectively and not looking at it, from a biased perspective, it's a raw deal. It is a raw deal that most women get. And it's hard for me to say as a man. It's not comfortable for me to say as a man. But it's like my wife natural gifts, like not natural gifts, but her ability with my sons and the patience she have with our sons. I'd rather her do it than me. I don't have the same amount of patience. And when I got to step in there, it's finna get a little rough. My sons finna really feel an earthquake. Like they really like, whoa, what's wrong with daddy? Because when I have to step in there, it's finna be some real issues. Whereas with her, she could handle it, she could deal with it in a different way. Her ability to help them study and do their homework. When my sons hit the first grade, because they go to private school, and private school typically is harder than a public school. When my sons hit the first grade, I can no longer help them with their homework. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's just a different type of work that I never had to do. My wife still could help my son even in the 8th grade. My son 8th grade work, I could not begin to do that. And I got A's and B's all through school and through college. And I cannot begin to do my son's schoolwork in the least. And I ain't I'm not telling you no lies. I can't do his schoolwork. Especially not the math work now. The rest of the stuff I probably could figure it out if I sat in the class and got the lesson. But my wife could help my son. So he got straight A's. And so she have a gifting. But like with me, I noticed like if she really don't do girls' nights, because her and the other women she friends with, they like, well, if we do a girls' night, what's gonna happen with the kids' routine? What's gonna happen with their kids' schedule? With they showers and they brushing their teeth and they reading their devotional and their prayer and helping with the homework, like, because a lot of the women do that. Whereas a man, I up and I be at the basketball game, sitting in the suite or, now about courtside with me and the guys, because we could shake free from the house because we not as needed in the house as an anchor for what's going on in the house. And when you look at it, it's unfair. But when you look at natural gifts and abilities, in a lot of ways, the woman may be or may appear to be more equipped for it. Or at least that could be societal norms. And so when you really look at it objectively, like from the outside, and you being honest about it, I'll be honest with you. I'm like, I thank God I'm not no woman. Like, women honestly just got it harder. I'm like, man, y'all don't get equal pay. Don't nobody want to watch y'all sports. So, do you know it's WNBA players? This is professional basketball. And these women, WNBA, and like the lowest salary in WNBA is like $35,000. They might have moved it up to $75,000. I think the highest is like $125,000, $225,000. Like the highest salary in the WNBA is not even half of like the minimum salary in the NBA. But that's because nobody want to watch, including women. Nobody want to watch the WNBA. So if they don't have viewers, then the advertisers don't want to advertise. So if the advertisers don't want to advertise, the TV deals can't be worth a whole lot. And so I'm like, but the women is practicing just as hard as the NBA players, but getting 1% of the money. And so 10% or whatever. And it's just like, man, it's just not a good deal. And so when we really look at this thing, and so that's why I do the work that I do, to try to level the playing field. And a lot of men don't understand that. But if a man really look at our life, like, we don't have to bleed 5 to 7 days of the month with excruciating cramps. Like, I have no issues in my life. Like, I feel totally fine in my life. Every single day, something ailing my wife's body. Every single day, she dealing with a migraine, a plantar fasciitis, something wrong with her shoulder, her hip, her leg. I don't know if I'm from playing sports her whole life and running track in college or what have you, but I'm like, something is always wrong with you. She anemic. And of course, that's not every woman, but then on top of that, you got to go through hormonal changes. I don't watch my wife go through so many hormonal changes, and just women in general. I'm seeing women live their whole life with a clear face, and then get to 30s and go through adult acne because of a hormonal change. I've never seen that happen to a man. You see what I'm saying? And as a man, we get to have pleasure in sleeping with a woman, and it's the whole experience is pleasurable. The whole experience is pleasurable. But for a woman, if it's too fast, if the man body part is too big or too little, now she don't get the same pleasure. And then she got to be deposited into, so now she got the sticky end of the deal, literally speaking. So now she got to be dripping the rest of the day. She got to be going through that, got to put a pad on, got to have all that in her, deposited into. And then if she got an egg in there and the egg fertilized something, now her whole body got to change. She got to go 10 months, 9 months, 7.5 if you have an early pregnancy. But she finna go 7 to 10 months carrying a human in her body. Her hips finna spread. Probably gonna get stretch marks. She finna put on typically a minimum of 40 pounds. Some women may put on up to 120 pounds. Some women will never be able to get all the weight off. Some women, they'll get the weight off their genetics or their work ethic after the baby, whatever. A woman is going through this dream idea to have kids, but it comes with back pain. It comes with nausea, throwing up, just discomfort, waddling like a duck, can't really sit right. Then the man sees the process as unattractive. So 60 to 70% of women get cheated on while they're carrying the man's baby. And the man lose all sexual attraction toward the woman for 10 months. Then she have to give birth. If it come out naturally, she could get a split down there, get a cut, because of how far it has to expand. There's a study that says that giving birth feels like the equivalent of 20 bones being broken at once. Then she can die. They say that giving birth is the closest to death a woman comes to. I have 2 cousins who died after giving birth, who lost their life. 2 cousins. And something that's supposed to be pleasurable. Now, yes, it's not all that. It don't happen to everybody, But think about this. And then on the other side of giving birth, the woman has to go through postpartum depression. Whereas countless women today are being verbally abused while pregnant and after pregnancy, sending them into postpartum depression, being alienated, feeling alone, feeling overweight, feeling unattractive, but then having to wake up every 2 hours to breastfeed or to feed the child while the man is sound asleep. 1 out of 100 men will get up that every 2 hours. And our excuse as a man is, I gotta go to work. I can't be bothered. I can't be waking up every 2 hours to feed the baby. I got to go to work. How am I gonna make money? And I remember that process. And I was young. I was 23, and that's the other thing. Men doing what it takes to have kids from the age of 13 and nowhere near ready for it. I remember saying to my wife, this why men leave. This why men be ready to cheat on their wife. And it was because I was losing my mind. I was losing my mind. Waking up every 2 hours. Oh, Lord. I ain't have to carry the baby. I didn't have to give birth to the baby. And so this one so a lot of people don't understand why I do what I do. It's because God looked and he saw the raw deal. And he said, man, I got to have a man that's going to balance the scales. That's going to speak the truth. That's going to help men see how blessed and easy your life is as a man. Like, my life is a breeze. My life a breeze. Because you know what's expected of a man? To earn a living. And then guess what? We get mad at, including myself, get mad at a woman for wanting a man who could provide. Now, I ain't mad at a woman for wanting a man who provide. I don't like when women make that the only requirement of a man. I'm saying require that he have good character too. Require that he's a good role model for kids. Require that he's a good person. Require that he gonna be faithful too. Don't just require that he make money. But that is the requirement of a man. Make money. And if you make money, you ain't got to do nothing else. And then some women will have the boldness to say, okay, yes, I want you to provide, but I also want quality time. But to 9 out of 10 men, let's be real now, to 9 out of 10 men, that's asking too much. What? Love ain't gonna pay no bills. All right, do it. All right, do this right now. Do it right now. Get on the phone. All right. Here. Call down there to the light company and tell them you want to pay the bill with quality time. Call down there. Yeah, call down there. Love ain't gonna pay no bill. And then men have said that so much that now women say it too. Love not gonna pay no bill. Love ain't gonna, I want my man to make money. Love ain't gonna pay no bill. I take care of myself. I got me a vibrator. I got me a little bullet. Love ain't gonna pay no bill. I want my bill paid. So now women saying it too. Cause men done brainwash women to believe you don't deserve nothing else but your bills paid. And now women write me, oh, he want me to go down on him, he won't go down on me. Oh, he want me to do this, he won't do this. That's what you selling for. That's what you done signed up for. If you gonna settle for it, that's what it gonna be. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm trying to level the playing field. So that's why I say like this right here. And this is what I tell men. Listen, when you laid the straw that broke the camel's back, then you got to live with that. So as a man, you can't beat on a woman, go to counseling, get the woman back, and then 1 year later lose her again. Because why she left again? Because if you truly changed and you grew, why she left again? And then if she left and then now y'all great friends and you say you feel like you're on the outside, listen, it's like, can you trust yourself to treat her right? Do you deserve another chance? And this is why I tell men, sometimes we have to stop being selfish. And we got to say, listen, I had my opportunity. I ran it in the ground. I ruined it. I lost it. I got to live with that now. I got to live with my choices. I got to live with what I've done. She deserves better. So let me remove myself from her life so she can heal, so she can grow. But see, that's too much like right. Like, we don't want that as men. We want to do what we want to do, and then we want the consequences to be avoided. We don't want the consequence. We don't want to lose this woman because we don't want to deal with the pain of that tie tugging on us. We don't want to deal with the pain of that failure. we don't want to face failure and rejection and pain. So we ask the woman to face failure and rejection and pain for our sake. So we are essentially asking this woman, although I've cheated on you, although I've beat on you, I want you to forgive me and ignore the fact that I have beat on you and cheated on you or put hands on you or cursed you out, lied to you, manipulated you, deceived you, and used you. I want you to ignore all of that, and I want you to be with me. I want you to be with me. But now, if the tables are turned and we flip this here and we say, okay, if she cheats on me, am I gonna stay with her? If she puts hands on me, if she punched me in my nose, am I gonna stay with her? 9 out of 10 times the answer is no. But we ask women to do what we are not willing to do. And then we get angry when we bump into a savage woman. When all she's had to deal with her whole life is being on the losing end of exchanges with men. She was touched by a grown man as a child. She was beat by her middle school or high school boyfriend. She was taken advantage of and a man forced himself on her in college. And then she comes to the place to where she decide, instead of losing the game, she finna play the game. And when she play the game, she decides she gonna win the game. And then now a man gets hurt. Now the man gets hurt. Now the woman becomes everything that's wrong with the world. The woman becomes everything that's wrong with the world. And now you have all these communities popping up. MGTOW, red pill, alpha male. Because now a woman hurt a man. So now she's everything that's wrong with the world. And we will ignore right before our very eyes the immense amount of pain that women suffer every day at the hands of men. And that's why I do the work I do. It's not about pandering to women. It's not about and any woman who watch me regularly will tell you that her toes done been stepped on, that the truth have slapped her in the face, that she have heard stuff that she did not agree with, that she did not want to hear, that I'm not playing a fiddle for a woman's sore ears. I'm calling it like I see it. I'm calling it right down the middle, just like I see it, like an umpire. And it's sometimes it's gonna hurt the man feelings, and sometimes it's gonna hurt the woman feelings. But at the end of the day, I got to be real with myself as a man. And when I look at my life, I honestly be thinking, I said, Lord, thank God that I am a man. Like what women have to deal with and put up with, I just don't see how. I just, ooh. Anything that bleed 5 days out the month and don't die, I'm just like, oh Lord, I could imagine walking around bleeding. And then on top of that, to be having cramps with it and mood swings with it sometimes. Some women, that thing hurt them so bad they got to lay down on a tile floor and put their stomach on a tile floor like a sick puppy. You ever seen a sick puppy stretch out on that cold floor because their stomach hurting? That's what some women have to do. Some women have to take medication, all that. And then to be put in a place to where the world sees you as a childbearing vessel. And then what if you can't have kids? Where the world see you as a failure if you're not married by 28. Men, we don't have that same standard. And see, this is the thing. As a man, I could look at everything that's not fair for men. But as a real man, I choose not to make excuses for myself. And I choose to empathize with other people's struggle than to take a woe is me approach. to life. I choose to look at how can I make the world a better place for the people I have to interact with versus just trying to make it comfortable for me. And so how I live my life is like, my wife, she don't have to cook. She don't have to clean. I don't have that as a thing because I feel like that's annoying for any human being. That's boring and mundane for any human being. And I say, listen, anything I wouldn't enjoy doing, I'm not going to require that that's her job and that she have to do that. Now, is she going to do it when she feel like doing it? And if she don't feel like doing it, then I'm going to feel like doing it. If I'm tired of looking at a dirty dish, then guess what? I have to look at myself as a man and realize, okay, I got hands. I can wash dishes too. I could vacuum the floor too. I could clean up too. Now, the only thing I don't try to do is wash clothes, because that's one thing that laundry and the individual pieces. I look at that laundry, 400 pieces of clothes. I said, Lord, I ain't that good a man yet. Ugh, I got to keep working on myself. Lord, I can't fold 400 pieces of laundry now. I'm going to see if she want to do that. You want to do the laundry? Oh, I'm just getting ready to do the laundry. Oh, you about to do the laundry? Oh, you want me to do it? I'll be faking like I want to do that laundry. She be like, no, get out of here. You wasn't finna do that. You don't want to do that laundry. But then she'll honestly tell me like, no, because if you do it, I'm going to have to do it all over because I like to do it a certain way. Like, oh, you like to do it a certain way? Oh, go, hey, you know what though? The way you do that laundry, woo, you really be showing out. And it's like, it's like as bad as I want to do that laundry, it's like, I can't even do it the way you do it. So it's like I just got to know my gifts. And it's like, let me go in here and do a live. Let me go in here and get on YouTube real quick because I can't. You see what I'm saying? I be having to fake like I want to do some laundry, and she be knowing I don't want to do it. But but even with that, I'm like, that's boring. That's mundane. That is tedious. And look, that's what every single woman be doing. And even a lot of single men will hire a woman to come and clean their house and do their laundry, or get a jump off, a random woman to sleep with on every Friday night so that she'll do his laundry. So it's like, I had to come to the realization like, man, men hopping on top of a woman, depositing a child in her, and then could just up and leave. And the court expect the woman to be there for that child and to take care of that child by herself. And you see what I'm saying? And so I had to really look at that thing. And with a man who looking for a pat on the back, and I'm just not that type of man. I decided not to be that type of man. And I'm gonna tell you, when I listen to these men sitting in the dark with stuff spinning on their desk, and I can't listen to more than 5 minutes. And I listen to these, if I see a little one of these red pill or whatever, I can't listen more than 5 minutes. But when I listen to them, it's soothing to sore ears. Like, if you want to feel sorry for yourself, and if you want to look at it from your angle about what the woman need to be doing for you and how unfair your life is as a man, and how unfair marriage is to a man, and that men don't have no benefits, and men don't get no respect in the world, and men this. If you want to look at it from that perspective, then you're going to find every excuse to be a grown boy. You're going to find every excuse to mistreat women, to dog women out, to use women, to take women for granted, to put women through a million tests working for you when you ain't even worth working for, when you ain't even worth nothing because of the way you looking at the world. And what I've noticed too, just being a man and being a heterosexual man, a lot of these men that's pleading the case of a man as if we don't have a much sweeter deal. Even boy moms are so happy they got boys and not girls. Like, what does that tell you about the life that men have? Like, you'll hear boy moms say, I thank God I got boys, because girls is a handful. Girls is and then women who got girls, they love their daughters. They love their daughters and all of that, but they look at like, Okay, boys, you don't have to do all this hair, or you don't have to do all this. You ain't got to deal with a period at 11 or 12, 13. You don't have to worry about them being, attacked by men and being the prey of men from a young age. And yes, some men go through that, but not proportionate. It's not proportionate. Because I'm a man, and I never was on the victim end at the hands of a woman. And I know men, and men know men. And if a man go through that, for one, men is less afraid to talk about that than y'all think. Men is an open book, And a lot of people say, the same thing happened to men. No, it do not. No, it does not. Not at the rate that it happens to women being touched by adults. It's not. Somebody told you that, you want to believe that, but when you a man and you know men and you got best friend that's men, and all of y'all looking each other in the eyes and said, no, they ain't never happened to me. No, they ain't never, and when somebody lying. And the ones that did happen to, they'll say, well, yeah, man, my nanny, or my auntie, or my older cousin. Hey, boy, I liked it. Hey, come on, what else you want to do? Like a lot of men, they'll turn it into a joke. Very rarely you have a man that he traumatized by it. Like, oh man, that messed me up, man. Sometimes that's the case. Now, if it was a man touching a man, then that's when he really goes through, because now he confusing his identity. But with women, a lot of women from the age of 2-3 years old is already got to be worried about this grown, nasty man that's trying to do something. And it's like our life is just not the same. And until we come in a world to where those who are called to be the leaders, to be the head, women say a man's supposed to be the head of a household. Men think we supposed to be the head of a household. Well, how can the world grow and change if those who are called to be the head want to just make excuses for their pain in their life and not empathize with their other half, with the woman and what she have to go through, and not bear the brunt and carry the cross and say, okay, if I'm called to be the stronger vessel, if the Bible say the woman is the weaker vessel and I'm the stronger vessel, then why am I on YouTube crying about men's rights and what I don't get and how bad I'm being treated? Why am I crying about that instead of me suffering the wrong, carrying the cross, picking up the slack, and me seeing what my change in the world could be? So instead of me feeling sorry for myself, let me love this woman like no other human has ever loved her in her life, and let me see what this does to her. And that's what I decided to do as a man. I stopped making a woman be my punching bag, my human teddy bear, my play toy at my disposal. And I started seeking to love and leading in love, meaning initiating the love without expecting or demanding reciprocation, giving without demanding receiving, to see what it does to a woman if I wash her with love. And in that process, I saw a renewed mind. Yes, there was times that I saw spoiledness and complacency, but the next thing is like, what I realized is that was a rest. That was she's resting in my love because of what she's had to overcome, because she's already been violated by multiple men, or attacked by men, or having been dealt the short end of the stick. So as a man, it becomes my job to help heal her heart before I can have her heart, because she is being placed under my care, under my watch. And if I want to be treated like a king, then I have to prepare her like a queen. And the way a queen is adorned and loved in a healthy sense, not in an old, archaic, medieval times sense to where she's just property at the disposal of a king. But if I bring it up to date to where it's healthy and it's a mutual agreement and it's a two-way street, but me being the head of the household, I'm leading. And even on your taxes, they put head of the household. You file as head of the household. So okay, if you're gonna do that, then the head is the leader. But leadership is sacrifice. Leadership is giving. Leadership is gentleness. Leadership is compassion. Leadership is understanding. Leadership is service. So when you operate from that way, then you see, that's when you learn that the oil flows from the head, the oil of the anointing, that the blessings flows from the head, that the household will go as far as the man goes. If a man is in the household, if the man's life is out of whack and his morals is out of whack and his moral compass is broken, then the house will be broken. But if the man is focused, if the man is sacrificial to his calling, to his purpose, and he has a pure heart with pure intent, with pure and righteous actions, then the home will flourish. So I see that. I see that and I live that. And it not only flourishes in peace, but it also flourishes in prosperity. So the peace is prosperous, but then also your finances and your health is prosperous, because that who is called to be the head of the household is in alignment with his creator and protecting the creation that comes from him. Man, woman. So the man protects the woman and provides for the woman, but understanding that provision is not just physical, is not just monetary. Provision is spiritual, it's emotional, it's mental. And so when you try your absolute best to provide in those ways, and then when you err in your ways, you're man enough to apologize for your error, and you're man enough to heal and to wash her with love, that's when you witness a perfecting of your household. When you are operating from a place of sacrifice and service and not from a place of ego. That's when you see everything change. And I'm telling you, life on this level, life in this space is beautiful, because I have everything I want and everything I need. And that God has given me peace. And every day the adversary tries to disrupt and steal that peace. But I know the peace abounds. I know the peace is there. And I understand that those attempts are just spiritual warfare. But I also understand that I'm equipped to win the battle. And in the end, we win the war, the spiritual warfare. And so as men, the call has to be for us as men to pick up the torch, to carry the torch, to bear the burden, to carry the cross, to lead and to be the change. Instead of begging women to change or demanding that women change, instead of manipulating and playing games, instead of trying to find ways to manipulate and control and deceive women, instead of positioning ourselves as a warrior against a woman and making a woman our opponent, us as men have to align ourselves as a teammate to a woman. And in order to be a teammate to a woman, you have to understand her plight. You have to understand her story. You have to hear that, and you have to, as a man, seek to understand, then be understood, as Stephen R. Covey teaches in his book, and I don't know where he got it from. But today, we don't want to do that. And then when a man does want to do that, the devil then starts to play on the woman, and then the woman want to take advantage of a kind-hearted man, of a good man. Then the woman says, "Oh, he too soft. I need a man with an edge." So you want to get punched in your eye. Essentially, what you saying. This man trying to open doors. He trying to cater to you. He trying to respect your mind. He's allowing you. He's asking that you have a voice in the relationship, that you call some shots to from your strength. But now he's soft. Now he weak. And so that's how it is. So it's like the adversary gonna keep playing on both sides. Gonna keep playing. And so I see it. And then so guess what? It makes the cycle continue. So now the man say, okay, I'm gonna give this a shot. He gives it a shot, and then the woman dog him out. So now he back on savage mode. And then he come back and he's savage mode, and then he hurt her. And now she back. Now she's a victim. And now she become the savage again. And it's just a cycle. It's just a cycle. So it start with the man and it leads with the man. But then as a woman too, the woman has to see and recognize a good man and be okay with this man's strength being his gentleness. When a man allows his gentleness to be his strength, most women look down on him and take advantage of him. And so then he got to beat his chest and show his fangs when he don't want to be that man. He wants to be vulnerable in his home. He wants to be able to not show his fangs and to not have to beat on his chest. But then the woman gets complacent and starts to take advantage of him. And then now, around and around we go. So regardless of who this message was for, everybody listening, male and female, you got to make it for you. You got to let it sit in your lap and see what you got to do. And here's the thing. You can't change who you are, and you can't be less of a person because of what the world is serving you. But what you do have to do is you have to be aware, and you have to be cognizant of what you're dealing with and what you're up against. And when you identify that you're dealing with a savage, you have to love yourself and be strong enough to walk away. And understanding that what you just did will change the course of this person's life. And that by you removing yourself, your absence now forces this person to get in a different alignment in the world. So this is what we got to realize and understand. And hey, this is Tony Gaskins. God bless you. We'll talk soon.